Welcome to the Nate and Dorin podcast. We are professional videographers based in Vancouver, Canada, and we're here to talk about relevant topics within the video and media industry. I'm Nate, and I run Nate Dixon Media.
And I'm Dorin, the videographer, solo entrepreneur offering video production services. And today we're going to have a chat with our special guest, Cole Jackson, who runs Cole Films. Cole, welcome to the podcast. Please introduce yourself and tell us how you know Nate.
Thanks for having me, guys. My name is Cole Jackson. I'm the owner of Cole Films, a video production company out of Vancouver. I met Nate about a year ago. We were both shooting high school graduations. It was like right after COVID hit, so it was a bit of a weird time for us. But yeah, we shot those together, and I think that was about 2 months long.
Yeah, that was fun, and I think we both identified each other's skills and that we kind of stood out among the team. So we've kind of collaborated since then on a wedding and a memorial service, and I think I've really appreciated your attention to detail and your preparedness. I was really impressed with like your organization approaching a shoot.
Yeah, thanks, man. I definitely find that shoots can be tough, and the better you are in pre-production, the more prepared you are on the day, and everything's always go wrong no matter what. So if you can mitigate that a little bit, it's pretty massive.
Definitely. So Cole, why don't you tell us how and why you got started with Cole Films?
So Cole Films officially started about 3 years ago, but I've kind of always been into videography. Like I went to film school right out of high school, did that, and then I worked a full-time job for the BC Lions. Actually, I was their manager of video production for about 4 years. But I kind of always knew that I was going to be freelancing and going out on my own. So after that, at the beginning of 2018, it was time. I had saved up the money and made the contacts, and just kind of started Cole Films. And I had a few clients that I had met through the BC Lions, and kind of got some more clients. And it's been 3 years now, and it's been going really well.
It kind of sounds like you, from the get-go after doing school, you knew you wanted to do your own business?
Well, not really. The story there is kind of funny. I'd actually went to film school totally planning to do 4 years. I was going to be a director. I was going to work on movies, like PA, AD. I didn't even really want to touch a camera. Like I just wanted to make movies. And then in between my second and third years of film school, I started volunteering with the BC Lions in their video department. I'd go in on game day, and as the weeks went on, I kind of started going in more and more. I went on practice days and helped them out, and but still fully planning to go back to school in September for my third year. And about 2 weeks before, like the last 2 weeks of August, they pulled me aside and they kind of said like they have a job for me if I want to work full time, helping out their video guy at the time. And so I was like, well, you know what? I can always go back to school later. This is an opportunity now to like get valuable experience. Like I'm going to learn so much doing it for real than I would at school. And so I just took the shot. I'd already paid for school. I was already enrolled. Like I had to kind of pull out of all that. And that job ended up lasting me like 4 years. And that's where I realized that I sort of changed from wanting to be the director and make movies to wanting to, be a cinematographer and videographer and things like that. I was always a good editor, so that really helps too.
Wow.
Sweet.
So it was kind of like an internship at first with the BC Lions.
I was just there for free. Like they only asked me to come on game days, like just to help their video guy. But I'm a huge CFL fan, and obviously like a filmmaker. So doing those two things together was so massive for me. And I just kind of offered to come in more and more, and they were really busy. Like they had too much work for one person. So when they realized that I actually kind of knew what I was doing, and like I said, like I had never really intended to be like a videographer or even like have a camera. So I learned so much just in my like first couple months there that changed my entire career trajectory.
Cool. I gotta say, I'm noticing you're very well lit with a backlight too. What are you recording yourself with, and what's your like setup, like both now, like what light are you using, but also what's your like day-to-day recording setup? Like what gear do you have?
So currently I've got a GH5 that I'm shooting myself with, and then I just have like one little Dracast LED light, and then I've got kind of like a little purple kicker back here, and then my lamp on as well for some color. I just figured like if I'm gonna be doing a lot of online calls with people and clients, like I should kind of look my best. Um,
Looks good.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm pretty happy with the look. Yeah, my this isn't really my day-to-day setup though. My day-to-day setup, I actually just got a Blackmagic Pocket 6K Pro. Kind of think they just released it, and so as soon as
Mm.
it was available on B&H, I ordered one. I used to shoot with a Blackmagic Pocket 4K. I'm a big fan of Micro Four Thirds cameras, like I have a GH5 and that. But I decided I was going to switch to EF lenses, and I like to not adapt if I can avoid it. So they announced the Pocket 6K Pro, and it just seemed like the perfect time for me to pick one up. And that's going to be my main cam for the foreseeable future.
Sweet. So what did you do with a 4K one? Are you keeping it as a backup camera, or are you using it as a B camera second angle?
So I will be selling the Blackmagic 4K. I have two GH5s as well that I use on weddings, so I'll keep those as like my webcam and my backup cameras. And yeah, see maybe get another Pocket 6K Pro in the future. I find most of my stuff I don't need a two camera setup, so with the work I'm doing right now, and so I think that yeah, I can get away with that and a GH5.
Well, you've already
Awesome.
answered the next question, which was what was your newest piece of gear? So good on that.
I'm very efficient.
All right, what's the next question, Cole?
Yeah, try and guess it.
Well, you kind of already mentioned actually what you shoot with weddings. So, kind of, what's the favorite types of videos and services that you like to provide at Cole Films?
My favorite thing to do is music videos. I don't do a lot of them. They're hard to get into, and there's not a ton of money in them. Like a lot of the times, you're doing them for bands that don't have much of a budget. But it's certainly something I'm very passionate about. I've done 3 music videos in the past, and I'd love to do more. Currently, I think like the most work that I do right now is like talking head interviews and like online courses has been like the bulk of my work lately, which is a lot of fun because I'm learning a lot about things I didn't know before. Um, but they're not like as creative as music videos or weddings can be.
Well, if you
Hmm.
had to choose one, let's say you had enough clients in the one specific area to make a living, which one would it be?
Oh, it'd be music videos for sure. Yeah, not even close.
Sweet.
I really like music videos. I like the idea of like telling a story without using words. You've got a set amount of time, however long the song is, and you're trying to tell something that can either be related to the song or not. Like, yeah, I find that there's a lot of creativity that you can use to do something that's kind of unique.
So that
Hmm.
includes the directing of like the shot sequence, the setting, like all of that. You would like to do all of that.
So when I do music videos, I usually do them with my directing partner. He's a buddy of mine. His name's Tommy Lee, very talented filmmaker, and so we've done those in the past. And yeah, we kind of co-direct. I would like to be cinematographer as well, and I'm also an editor. So wearing many hats on music videos.
There's a lot of different stuff going on with music videos. Like, they'll be shooting in different aspect ratios, like square, or it'll be, all in black and white except for certain shots. Like, you're right. There's so many creative ways that music videos are being shot now. It's
I would
crazy.
love to play with like aspect ratios and stuff. Like, the majority of what I shoot is 16:9. Like, so it would be nice to kind of get creative and do some kind of cool like 4:3 black and white, just whatever.
Hmm.
What I'm curious to know what is an important lesson that you learned in your first year of you going full time in your business?
I think a lesson that I learned in like my first year as a videographer, like when I was working for the BC Lions full time, was not to cheap out on gear. We were doing a press conference once with the head coach of the team. There was tons of people there, and I was shooting on like a little Canon T3i that I had. And instead of buying, the Canon batteries, I was buying those cheap Amazon knockoffs. And it showed that it had 50% battery life left. Everything was fine. And about halfway through a half an hour press conference, the camera died. And, those DSLRs, if it dies without stopping the recording, you lose everything. And so I
man.
lost that whole press conference. Luckily, I was recording the audio with an H4n plugged into a speaker. So we still had the audio. So I just took a picture of the coach and put the audio under it. So that, is kind of the most important part of the press conference. But yeah, they were not too happy about that one. And ever since then, I've bought name brand batteries from the manufacturer.
That's a good lesson.
Yeah.
I learned it the hard way.
I've actually had that happen to me too, and not in my first year.
It's brutal, man.
Yeah.
Never again.
I was filming in a skating rink, and the temperature was like below zero, and I was not aware that batteries deplete faster under those circumstances, and the third party battery was like fully charged the night before, and then an hour sitting in the cold when I switched it in, it's like 36%. I'm like, are you kidding me? No way.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Yeah. Under normal circumstances, it didn't do that, but yeah.
That cold weather, man.
So, what are your hobbies and interests? So, like outside of video, do you do anything kind of slightly related? Do you do photography, for example?
I do a little bit of photography. I actually have an Instagram account that I run with a buddy of mine. It's kind of a hobby where we go hiking and we take pictures of craft beer, kind of in nice locations. It's we both really like craft beer and we both really like nature and hiking, so we figured it would be like a good way to get us out of the house while still kind of doing something. Like, so we have this Instagram account that, and we've actually like through that we've met some breweries and we've shot some videos with them, and so it actually kind of tied into my work, but it started just as a hobby for sure.
Anything else?
Like playing video games. I like not my man. I'm all about the work right now. Yeah, I'm crazy busy. Not a ton of time for a lot of hobbies.
You're into music videos. Does that mean you're a musical person? Do you play instruments?
I do not. I've always wanted to play the guitar, but I didn't have enough of an attention span to stick to it. It's pretty tough.
Yeah, you got to put the work in to practice and learn the chords and stuff for sure.
Yeah, and you got to suck for a long time, and I think I just wasn't prepared for that.
So being so busy with work lately, how has COVID kind of affected your business in the last year or so?
So I mean, at the start of it, it killed the business completely. All my clients, I had some gigs lined up that just shut down. All my clients, they didn't know when they were going again. And I work in like a few different kind of video industries. Like I do a little bit of behind the scenes as well when I'm freelancing, and that, movies shut down, businesses weren't doing anything. And that's kind of worked out well because that's how I got the high school grad shooting where I met Nate. And, but it slowly kind of came back, and like now I'm busier than ever. I think like people are still, they want marketing content, and with everything being online, like online courses are, the best way for people to reach and make money. So that being my kind of one of my biggest money makers right now. I've got a lot of people that want online course videos made.
Cool.
So it's yeah.
So you haven't had to completely pivot away out of your industry.
Nope.
That's nice.
It was kind of looking like maybe that would happen, but I had faith that things were going to come back, and they ended up coming back pretty good. And I have a couple of clients that give me the majority of my work. So I I was able to, once one or two of them came back, things were looking good. And then, yeah, and the outlook moving forward here is looking very good. So everyone's kind of figured out how to still do this industry with testing and masks and sanitizing and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're on a good track and things are looking up.
Let me just do a follow up to that. So, did COVID affect in how you operate in the sense of did you have to reach out to clients in a different medium that you didn't before? Or did you reach out to them to see like, hey, like once they told you the project is postponed or delayed, did you like 1 month later do a follow up? Did you do more follow ups than usual?
Um, Not really. I kind of stayed in touch like the same as I normally do. Um, they would just kind of check in every once in a while. And I had, one of my clients, I was actually editing something for them. Like we finished shooting it at the end of February last year, and it was like a month-long edit. So, throughout all of March, like when everything was shutting down, I actually had something to do. So that was kind of useful. And then after that, it slowed down. It did affect the way I operate a little bit. Like normally when I shoot weddings, I'm a team of 3 people. But I've been shooting them like me and Nate did one, just the two of us, just to try to keep, because we're limited on how many people can attend the wedding total, and that includes vendors. So I wanted to make sure, one extra person on my team is one less person they can invite.
Mm-hmm. Have you had to switch up how you capture audio? Like maybe some clients wouldn't want to have your wireless lapel clipped onto them. Are you using like did you have to invest in a shotgun mic or did you already have that and you're using it more now?
So I have an audio guy that I work with most of the time. He's a good buddy of mine. His name is Charles Adams. Phenomenal, phenomenal sound guy. If anyone's looking for one. And so I usually work with him, and our clients have been pretty good about it. He sanitizes all his mics and stuff in between shoots and on set. Like if you're gonna lav someone, that's their lav for the whole shoot. If you're laving someone else, we have a couple different ones. And then we also, shotgun mic, and it's just been a lot of just keeping things sanitized and making sure everyone is comfortable, trying to stay 6 feet away. People are on camera. If they're not wearing masks, then you make sure, I might zoom in a little bit more so the camera can be further back than I normally would. So just kind of little things to try to make everyone feel safer.
Mm-hmm. Cole, what's your favorite project ever that you produced?
Oh, that's a tough one.
All of them are awesome. How do you choose the best one? How
I
about
think
how about which one gained the most praise or recognition or kind of went viral? Do you have one of those?
I um I had so one of my music videos I made for a song called Skipping Stone by Good for Grapes, a local band. That's probably my favorite one. It also kind of went the biggest. I don't know how many views it has on YouTube now. I used to check it, but I made that a fair few years ago now. And it was just a really fun, creative project that I did with my directing partner, Tommy. And it was kind of this little goofy little idea we did with about these two Boy Scouts, and they're competing for badges, but the badges get increasingly more ridiculous as the song goes on. And me and Tommy actually put ourselves in the video. There's one scene where the kid's at a bus stop and he's ready to give up on, he's quitting being a scout, and we're just kind of sitting next to him. We're not even like a part of it. We're just there. And I thought that was kind of funny.
Now I have to
And
see it.
yeah,
Yeah, you have to link it to us after this.
yeah, I'll link it.
I
I'll
want to
link
see
you guys
this.
these
This sounds
videos.
awesome.
That's probably my favorite thing I've ever made. Just the making of it was, very challenging and very fun. And the final product, I think like we were so happy with it.
Hmm.
I think the thing I've had one thing kind of go viral. When I was shooting for the BC Lions, we had Aaron Rodgers' brother, Jordan Rodgers, kind of came to our team, and he was stepping off a bus once, and I was just filming the players getting off the bus, and he kind of did a bit of a hair flip, and then our starting quarterback came off the bus after him, and he has no hair, but he also did like a hair flip as a joke. And I managed to film it, and we put it up on the internet, and like ESPN picked it up, and like, no credit to me, but it did get seen by a lot of people, and it just because of Jordan Rodgers and Travis doing something funny. And so I think that was kind of cool to see. I saw that on TV, and that was my shot. So that was pretty exciting.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I kind of want to ask you about the music videos that you do. I'm just curious, how much pre-production and pre-planning do you do?
Oh man, so much.
Tell me about it.
Uh, um, for our first music video, um, we had so little time between the shooting and they were using it for the peak performance project, the like radio station contest. And this wasn't Skipping Stone. This was another one called Renminbi Tips. But basically, from the time we shot till when it needed to be done was a week. So we shot for 4 days and then we edited for three. So what
Wow.
Tommy came up with an idea that was basically all pre-production. We spent like a month and a half doing pre-production. It's a backwards video, so the singer had to learn to sing all his songs backwards, so that when we reverse it, it looks like he's singing them properly, but things are going all crazy around him. So it took a lot of pre-production planning to make sure he learns the right lines and that we have all the props we need. And it was all shot in like just in one room, so the logistics of it were easy. Like we were trying to make the actual production and the edit as easy as possible, and so it was one of those things where like exterior factors actually kind of affected the music video and made us be more creative than we otherwise would be. Um,
Hmm.
Whereas like Skipping Stone was kind of the exact opposite. We were in like 15 different locations all over the place and a crew of like 20 people. So the pre-production on that was a lot of like we wrote the script and we just kind of sat there like storyboarding it and making sure we had so many production meetings and making sure that all the props would be there and we had to cast two kids, so we had to go through like a full-on casting process and their parents had to be involved, obviously, when you're working with children. So there was, again, it was like a couple of months of that. And then I don't know I can't remember how long we shot for, but it was like 4 or 5 days kind of spread out over a few weeks. And definitely the pre-production is the longest part to make the day go easier.
It almost sounds like because you mentioned there's not that much money into it, but it does sound like you're not doing like an $800 cheapo music video. These still sound like full-on productions. Like,
Yeah, we there. These two that I'm talking about were a few years ago now. So we kind of got most of the labor was free. We worked for free. Like it was again, you want to go back to hobbies. Like we were basically doing it as a hobby, but it gave us something to have a calling card and say like, look, I can do music videos. Here's proof.
hmm.
And so no, like I don't think on any of those anybody got paid. The whole budget went to. We made sure people were fed. If you're not paying people, at least feed them. And it was good for everyone because kind of we were all in the same boat. We were all just out of film school, and so we all needed a resume. So
Hmm.
our production designer was someone who wanted to get into production design. So they volunteered and they put in the effort, and I think they were rewarded with a pretty cool product.
So would you do that now? Would you do it again? Would you just volunteer for a music video now, or would you have the expectation like, hey, I've already proven myself. Here's my couple of projects that I've done. You'd aim
I would
for
not
bigger now, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't do it for free, but I would definitely do it for a very reduced rate. I was actually pitching a music video, me and my team, in December, and the budgets just didn't line up. Like I wouldn't do a no budget music video anymore, but I would, if someone had $10,000 and wanted to make a music video, I would put all that money into the video. Like I might pay myself like, $200 just for, gas money and stuff. Just because I do love doing music videos and I would like to, you need more always, but it would have to be a music video that has a budget so I can feel comfortable making something that I can be very proud of in the end, and take my time out to do something like that. We didn't end up making that music video, unfortunately, but we put together some good ideas, and I hope that we can kind of keep going with that. I have a really good team.
That's awesome. How have you kind of met this team? Is it kind of you guys all came out of the same program from film school?
So yeah, one of them, Tommy, me and him went to Capilano U together, and we worked on a bunch of stuff together in school and continued to this day. We still work on things together. The other kind of producer I work with, Charles, he's been a friend of mine since we were, like 12 or 13. And we just so happened to, he went to like sound design school and I went to film school, and the two things just worked really well together. And so he was my sound guy for a while, and now we've kind of, you know, changed into like producing partners as well. And so we'll produce a project and then I'll shoot it, he'll do sound. So it kind of helps that we can double dip on positions and do kind of lower budget or just like less crew, you know, if which has been really helpful in COVID actually, when you can't show up with a crew of 10 people or even like 5 people, you know, it's just the two of us and we can still get things done.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think I lucked out that like a childhood friend and still a very good friend of mine went into the same industry I did.
So do you, as a cinematographer, do you also like to operate the camera for these music videos?
Yeah, I at that time I wasn't the camera operator. I was the co-director. That was still kind of when my career was trending in the directing side. Um, Whereas now I would definitely be the cinematographer and camera operator as well, because that's where my career has changed to. But I still do like to direct. Like I haven't gone away from that. I like collaboration. That's my favorite part about the filmmaking process. So even when I direct, I prefer to do that as like a co-director with someone else, to have someone to really bounce ideas off of and do that. And then that also frees me up to be cinematographer as well, because I know that there's a co-director I trust watching for things that I might miss when I'm focused on cinematography aspects.
So do you have like a specific style to your directing? Like, do you appreciate kind of the handheld look over the gimbal Steadicam look, like that kind of stuff, or does it still depend on what is the story of the music video about?
Yeah, I think you got to make sure that you know your creative choices serve the story. So you know if you're doing, yeah, it totally depends. I think that one of the most important parts of being a cinematographer is that you are adaptable, because directors will come in, they'll want different styles and they'll want different ideas. Or like me and my directing partner will kind of be like, you know, when you see my music videos, you'll see that they're all very, very different, and so the even the cinematography can be different on them as well. And so yeah, I try to adapt, and I like to learn new things. So if I'm going into something, you know, I haven't done a rap video yet, but I'd like to do a rap video, and I think that would obviously be very different from the folk rock videos I've been doing previously, in a lot of ways.
Hit me up if you find one, because I'd be down to participate in a rap video as well. I'd be interested in that.
Oh, you'll be there, Nate. I'll be calling you.
Sweet.
If you guys need behind the scenes, I'm available.
Always. Dorin, you'll be my next call.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, I'd love to work together with you.
I
Um,
would too.
what's here's kind of a curveball I'm gonna throw at you. What's currently your greatest challenge, and how do you plan on overcoming it?
Currently, right now, my greatest challenge is just juggling a few projects that all have deadlines around the same time. That like if we're speaking right this moment, and I've been overcoming that by just working around the clock. A lot of editing, a lot of late night calls with clients and sending off revisions. And but I think my future kind of like upcoming challenges are going to be like growing my business, and you know I want to do music videos, so getting kind of, you know, angling my business into doing more of the things that I want to do.
Mm.
You know, and maybe not so much just the things that pay the bills. Try to do, you know, I want to do more creative work, and so if we can take it there, I have some shoots coming up. Like I want to get into the beer industry, like with our beer Instagram accounts. So if I can do more things with breweries and kind of those are pretty interesting. It's obviously an interesting industry, and there's a lot of creativity available there, I think.
Cool. And you can, tackle that problem by going to more breweries, right?
I mean, I market research. You gotta go check it out, meet some people, taste their beers. It's networking, really.
Yeah, for science.
I see. You've got a beer there, Nate.
Yeah, actually, I've got the Voltage Espresso Stout from Hoyne in
Ooh,
Victoria.
Point makes good beer.
I think this is the first one I've tried. I really like stouts and just darker beers in general. So anything with like coffee or chocolate flavor, I'm all over. So I'm liking it so far. It's good.
Yeah. Winter's the perfect time for all those,
Yes.
which kind of ending now, I guess. So you're gonna
Gotta
be going
stock
into
up
the
now.
going into the summer beers, the sours and pilsners.
Yeah. Amber ales. They can be good, but you know,
You're a dark beer guy.
dark beer guy.
Doran, what do you drink?
Um, what I've been drinking in the last year or so is red wine. Up until last year, I haven't really touched alcohol because I actually don't like the feeling and the sensation it gives. Like I'm talking about just like drinking it. Like I don't know, it just gives me a weird sensation in my throat, and that pinch I don't like. But red wine, I do like half red wine, half like Diet Coke. I forgot there's a term for it. The Mexican people coined it, but I forget what it is right now. Yeah,
I have never heard of that.
yeah,
Hmm.
I like it. Yeah, it takes away the pinch just enough that I can tolerate it. But I'm not big into just
Gotcha.
just like biologically, my body's not interested.
It's not a bad thing.
Hmm. Yeah,
Hmm.
I guess.
So cool. Back to video and freelancing. If you were to recommend investing in something for someone just starting freelancing, what would it be? And it doesn't have to be necessarily gear or a piece of equipment, but what would you think someone should invest in right when they're starting?
The number one thing that you should invest in as a starting videographer is relationships and networking. And basically, I would say 90% of the jobs I've gotten since quitting the BC Lions and going full time freelance has been through contacts I made at the BC Lions. Like Nate, even you, I started doing the Grads BC job because the videographer I worked with at the BC Lions recommended me to it. He'd worked with them before.
Oh,
And so
Josh, right?
Josh, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I ended up, I worked there and that's a good gig. I'm doing that again this year. And I met you and now you and I work together. So, yeah, one of my main clients who I've been working with for almost 3 years now, I met him through someone else I met at the BC Lions. Like it's all networking. You gotta be good at what you do and you gotta have a portfolio and stuff. But you'll just meet people and when they like you, they call you and you go back out. And I think people, they focus too much on gear or on, things that they might, they don't go out and network, like go to events. Obviously not now because COVID's not really having, we're not really having networking events, but there used to be, in Vancouver, there's so many filmmakers and you can go to, conferences and just meetups and meet people and kind of find people that you want to work with.
Right. And with COVID kind of putting a stomp on all that, have you found that social media is kind of more of a front runner in that networking? Or have you kind of already made all your contacts and you're still kind of drawing from them?
You can definitely never have enough contacts and enough relationships. I'm still trying to build more with people, but it is way harder because you're having less people on set and that's less people to network with and you're not going to these events. I know people are trying to do like online events. I think didn't Shia did one recently?
Yeah,
Another
he's done,
guy
I think,
we
a
worked with.
few.
Yeah, so like I wasn't able to make it to that, but kind of stuff like that. Like people are thinking outside the box and finding other ways to network and I think social media is certainly it's a really good way like LinkedIn or Instagram. I follow a lot of videographers on Instagram just mostly for inspiration, but Facebook actually, like I don't really use Facebook a lot personally, but professionally it's a really good tool. There's so many like Vancouver videography Facebook groups and I'm sure other cities have the same thing, and I've gotten gigs out of that. I've made contacts out of that. That's what I would 100% recommend for this kind of post-COVID world or current COVID world.
I think that's something that I should have heard when I was starting freelancing was I kind of thought, if I can assemble the perfect demo reel, that's going to get me gigs. Or like, oh, it's the next year, I got to update my demo reel.
Yeah.
Just focusing on that. Whereas if I had invested in the relationships and, getting myself into those situations where I can mix with other professionals who I can look up to and learn from and connect with, That would
Yeah.
have taken me a lot farther.
And like sometimes, they might get a gig that they can't do, and the person will ask them like, "Oh, do you know anyone who you can recommend to this?" And they'll recommend you, and things just kind of trickle down. And I think that ends up being the best advice I can give to someone starting out is don't neglect the relationships. You have to, and it's hard. Like I'm kind of an introvert. Like I don't like talking to people I don't know or going out of my way to meet new people. Like it's hard. But I think, if you really want to do well in this industry, it's not enough to just have a camera and be really good with it. Like you do need to speak and talk to people and meet them and stuff like
Mm.
that.
And be someone who's fun to work with. If you
Yeah.
just like plonk yourself down behind your camera, you just stare at the screen, you don't talk to anybody else next to you or like get along, someone is not gonna like want to work with you.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, well, you didn't really say anything. Like having someone who's fun to work with, honestly, it can be huge because you can have two people that might be equally as skilled, but one of them, you had a lot more fun with. Like you're gonna want to work with that person. Like I work with people I like. I work with Charles. He's a good buddy of mine, so we have a lot of fun on a shoot. And I think it helps to really enjoy your job. But the people have to be competent and very good at what they do as well.
Yeah, that's true. You can't just have a party and then forget to check the battery or the card or something and something just
Yeah,
blows up. Then you're like,
and the client you end up in editing and none of your footage works because it's out of focus because you weren't paying attention. Like it's not gonna work.
mm-hmm.
I looked up the name of that drink, guys. So equal parts red wine and cola is called a calimocho.
Ooh.
That sounds fancy.
Yeah, well, Spanish words are usually fancy sounding. So they started doing that in the 1970s, and I love it.
Ooh, you should just be listening to the Bee Gees and drinking that.
I will do that next time I drink red wine and Coke tomorrow, Nate.
Do
Oh
you
wait,
wait for special occasions, Dorin, or when do you do it?
no, I like on and off. 1 week, yeah, 1 week, no. It's more for health reasons. The benefits
Mm-hmm.
of drinking a glass of red wine a day. So I don't really do it for the taste of it. Again, like I dilute it basically with the Coke in order to endure the taste. But yeah,
Doran, wasn't there? I think I remember learning that there's another kind of common food that your body kind of rejects. Was it like milk or honey or something?
yeah, honey.
Really?
Like the texture of raw honey. The moment it touches the back of my throat, I have a gag reflex instantly. Like if it's just honey on toast or something, or just honey on whatever. The honey taste, if it's like embedded into something like cereal or something, I don't mind. But the texture of honey, just my body has a physical reaction. It's not a allergy because I don't have anything else except for the gag reflex. I don't know if that's an allergy. I don't know. But yeah, and kind of eggplants kind of make me want to throw up. Yeah.
So an eggplant honey sandwich would be like
My
torturing Doran
my
101.
kryptonite, yeah.
Eggplant honey flavored liquor is like not for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and liquor, of course.
Yeah. And add some, like, I have a low spice tolerance, so add some jalapenos to that and I'm a
Mm.
goner. Yeah. Do you have any weird, like, foods that you like your body doesn't like? Like I think Nate, you don't like tomatoes.
Well, dude, I don't like any fruit in its natural form because I can barely smell. So I was born with a very poor sense of smell. I'm like allergic to everything in the air. So most of my taste is based on texture. And the texture of most fruits is disgusting to me. So I will drink a smoothie so I can, you know, endure that. But like just eating a banana or grapes or so much of that stuff, it just disgusts me.
Oh man.
The mouthfeel of it with like almost imagine like dialing it down to like 5 or 10% of the taste. That's pretty much how I experience food.
Oh wow. Like even watermelon?
Watermelon, no, the little seeds and the
It's so
like no.
crunchy.
No, not a
Like
fan.
I don't like the taste. Well, not that I hate it, but I'm not a big fan of cucumber. But the fact that it's crunchy and juicy, that's addicting to me. Yeah.
Oh, those little membranes in the cucumber really throw me off.
Can you eat a carrot?
Carrots I like. Yeah,
There you
carrots.
go.
I have vegetables. There's more vegetables that I like. It's more the fruits that
Right.
if a desert island and all there is like pineapple or something,
So,
I'm gonna be like reluctant to eat
so
those.
you have no favorite fruit then?
Mm, maybe like maybe some sort of berry, like blueberries. Sometimes we'll pick blueberries, and those I can eat a few at a time. And if they're frozen, especially that's easier for me to eat than when they're all like splooshy.
Well, that's the problem with fruit is it's inconsistent. Like some blueberries
So,
are the best things I've ever tasted, and others are like disgusting. Like you just can't even eat them. So and you never know what you're getting. You can't tell.
mm, yeah. Whereas craft dinner, it's the same every time, consistent.
Always. Doritos, like, always perfect. You can't go wrong.
No.
So what about
But
you,
yeah, cool.
Cole? Yeah.
Hmm?
What about you?
Yeah, what about you?
Do you have food preferences that are like unusual?
I'm kind of picky, so there's not like a ton of stuff that I like to eat, but yeah, mostly it for me. It's a limited palate.
Well,
Mm.
what is that? Are you like a pizza guy, a fast food guy, or are you a Italian
Well, I
cuisine?
am Italian, so definitely Italian cuisine goes well.
Pasta?
I like, yep, pasta, pizza. I've been to Rome a couple times, and the food there is just incredible. I go there for the food. I just can't get enough of it.
So you like
Yeah,
seafood?
no, I'm not a seafood person.
Ah,
It's just yeah, the taste of seafood
so
doesn't.
not full Mediterranean diet.
No, no, pasta. Like I eat a lot of meat, pasta and meat. Give me the carbs.
Nice. Um, if I were to ask you, where do you see your business in 5 years? Give me like your most like ideal scenario, optimistic scenario.
My ideal scenario in 5 years is I'd like to grow it to the point where I can hire some people and actually have like, right now the business is just me and I have a couple of freelancers I work with. But I'd love to hire like an in-house editor and maybe like a full-time videographer and just kind of grow it. I don't need it to be huge, but it'd be cool to kind of maybe have like an actual office. Like right now I work out of my bedroom and it'd be cool to rent a little space and have a spot to collaborate with people and bring clients to that's a little bit more professional. And
Let me take a seat on my bed.
yeah, please come in. My roommate's in the kitchen making dinner. Um, so I think that's kind of the goal
So
is
kind of
to
like a mini production studio, music
yeah,
video production studio.
yeah, I'd like Whole Films to kind of be like right now my website says we're a full service video production company and that's kind of what I'd like to keep growing into and maybe even have just like a producer on staff who kind of works on these projects and it would be nice to be able to share the load a little bit so I'm not shooting and editing every project. I think it'd be cool to be able to have and I like helping like bringing other people on, so it'd be cool to bring on some people like some friends of mine and people I like working with and be able to give them a job and have some fun work to be done.
That sounds awesome. Cool films. Nice. Where would you want your office space to be?
Close to my house, definitely. I have gotten used to working from home, and yeah, I think we get a little bit spoiled, waking up 10 minutes before you have to start and kind of being able to just work, go in and make lunch at home. And so I live in Langley. So I think, and there is like Langley is growing right now. There's so much. I was looking at offices a few months ago because I saw there was a couple office buildings going up on 200th and they were kind of for rent and prices are reasonable for a small office. That doesn't make sense for me right now just because it's just me and I'm small, but I could certainly see the company growing to something like that, and I think that would be really cool to have.
Hmm. Definitely, that'd be cool.
Hmm. I'm trying to expand the clients I have and that I work with, and I'm trying to do like right now I actually do a lot of editing, obviously, because that's kind of it's easier if you know if you don't have to go out and interact with people, and just safer. So I would like to do a little bit more shooting as well, and kind of right now I think the scales are kind of more on the editing side, and I'd like them to be more on the shooting side. So I'm trying to
Mm.
find more clients that will even clients that would because right now a lot of my clients hire me for a full video, so I produce it, I shoot it, I edit it. So it'd be nice to maybe have some outside clients that hire me just as a cinematographer, and so I would come in and shoot their video and then hand them the footage and don't have 2 weeks of editing ahead of me. I think uh, that would be fun.
Hmm. Oh, that's cool. That's an awesome goal to have.
Hmm.
In 5 years, we'll have a episode 5,000 and talk to you again.
We'll be in
Well,
my studio at that point.
yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. All right, it's on my calendar. Yeah. Um, Cole, if you weren't doing Cole films and kind of on that trajectory, let's say maybe you didn't even go to film school, what do you think you'd be doing now?
Oh man, it's a hard one for me to answer because like I think I've known since I was like a child that I wanted to work in the film industry. It started, I wanted to be an actor, as I think a lot of kids have big dreams like that. But and it went away from that, but it never went away from the film industry in general. So if I had to like in a totally parallel universe, um, I think it'd be cool to be a lawyer. I think that's something I would enjoy doing. Um, what type of law I would practice, I don't know. I like to imagine that it's being a lawyer is a lot like you see on TV, but I know it's not. So, but that I think that would be cool. I think it'd be neat to be able to help people, and um, yeah, it seems like a cool thing. I know very little about it. I've seen Better Call Saul, so that's
So you're an
that's
expert, pretty
I'm,
much.
I'm like an expert. Yeah, all lawyers are like that, right?
So that's interesting
Yeah.
because based on like you being a director and having to deal with so many moving pieces on set and different people and their schedule and this lawyer thing, it kind of seems to me like you have very good stress management. Is that correct?
I think so. I like to think that I do. Um, I think it's important in like a fast-paced industry like this where you are juggling like, I shot a project 2 weeks ago. I shot another project a week ago. Those both have deadlines coming up. And then I have another project I started yesterday with a deadline coming up as well. So having to like manage all that while still kind of working, you know, other jobs. And I do find that I think I am good at that. Um, especially on set when things go wrong, and you can do all the pre-production in the world, but something's always going to go wrong that you didn't expect, and you need to be able to stay calm in that moment and find an answer. And that's what kind of why I like co-directing with someone, is that when maybe something is just too much for one of us, well, the other can pick up the slack and lighten the load. And I find that it's almost having that contingency and someone to help you out is so big.
Hmm. Cool. Well, that's a very useful trait to have.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna ask you if let's say like someone were to give you a grant to use for your business, what would be like your gear list? Like two pieces of gear that are not like, I don't need these right now, but if you had the money for it, like, oh yeah, let me just spoil myself and get these two pieces of gear. What would those be?
One would be something like very practical that I would use a lot. There's a set of lenses I've been eyeing for a while, the Dizo Film Vespids. They're a set of like 6 prime lenses. They're like a little over $1,000 a piece though, so it's hard to justify that right now. Right now I'm kind of using a couple of zooms that are really nice, but if I had the ability, like I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on these things, and the footage is beautiful, and I think uh, I think that would be that's is that one piece or 6 pieces of gear? I'm not sure, but
Well, one
I
package, yeah.
yeah, I think I would do that um, for sure. Um, I just got a new camera, so that's certainly not something I need. I'm very happy with that. Um, I think like one more piece. it's maybe not gear so much, but maybe, do some marketing,
Hmm.
a little bit of Facebook marketing or Google Ads. Nate, I don't know if you've done any of that recently, but
Oh yeah, you were asking me a little bit about ads, right?
yeah, if it was kind of worth it. Like that's why I haven't really done a lot of it, just because I wasn't really sure if it was like I feel like, there's people whose entire jobs are Facebook ads. And so me trying to figure it out myself, I feel like I would just waste some money. And so maybe it'd be cool to hire someone with some experience in that to kind of put out a little bit. And that I think that would be a worthy expense for sure.
You should
I don't know.
watch our podcast episode number, which is
Wasn't
it?
it 5 or something?
5, I think. Our first ever guest is somebody that we've worked with, that has branched off from video and focused more on marketing. And I would recommend that person. You can watch him in podcast 5. It's Victor Dinka, and both me and Nate have worked with him. He's helped me with my Google Ads, and I definitely say it was worth it. Um, like both Google Ads and also like being helped by someone that understands how things work. Because on the surface level, it's like, yeah, I can do this. I'll just input like, yeah, I'm a video guy and I sell video production services, and it's like it's more complex and deep than that because of how keywords trigger your ad. So you don't want to invest a whole bunch of money to get leads that are not for you. So if you're into music videos and not into weddings, you don't want to get the wedding people clicking and using up your ad space,
Spend.
or get people like a few people call me like, "Hey, so I searched in learn video Coquitlam and you showed up, so you're the teacher, right?" And I'm like, I don't teach video. You should probably go to school for that. I could teach it to you, but it's going to cost you just as much and in a shorter period of time. But that's not something I'm actively doing. No. So yeah, it's something that if you were to do, I would say yeah, do it properly. Do it with someone that understands how to weed out stuff that you don't want to attract.
Yeah. Well, one of my biggest kind of lessons lately has been to like do what you're good at. Like, I'm a filmmaker, cinematographer, editor. I'm not a marketing guru. I'm not a Google Ads guy. So like I could learn to do that. Like I could go on, you can learn anything on the internet, but all I would do is spend a lot of time learning to do it kind of okay. Whereas there's people out there who have, gone to school for that or trained in it. And they're the one like put people who know what they're doing in the right spot. That's kind of my mantra right now for my business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a video guy. I'm not a sound guy. So when budgets allow, I hire a sound guy and I push for it with my clients. If their budget is low, I try to tell them, why it's worth it. And I'll show them examples of kind of average sound versus what you get with someone who does that for a living. And it's always worth it.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good tip. Last thing, Cole, I've got here on my spreadsheet of questions is how can others find you and be involved with Cole Films and you?
So you can find me at my website, which is coalfilms.com, COAL films.com. And I'm also on Instagram, Cole_Jackson, COAL again. And those are probably like the two best ways. We have a YouTube channel, and you can find all that linked on my site. But I think the best way would either be to email me, which the email is on the site. It's info@coalfilms.com, or just send me an Instagram message. It's a great way to get in touch.
Okay.
So maybe you already mentioned this and I didn't pay attention, but I think we didn't touch on why Cole Films. Like your name is COLE and your business name is COAL, and your Instagram is COAL but Jackson. What? Could you explain, or did I misunderstand something?
So I was struggling to come up with like a company name. I kind of wanted to have like a company name instead of just being like, when I first started, I was just Cole Jackson Films, like just my name, Cole. And I kind of, I thought that it would be cool to have like a just a company name that wasn't my name. So I struggle. I'm very indecisive, and I struggled with what to call it. And I had this weird little. I thought it was clever to kind of, my name's Cole, Cole, and this is Cole, Coal. And then I kind of got into like, well, coal turns into diamonds. So I had this whole motif of like, making really beautiful things. And I I still think it's cool and I like it, but it is a bit confusing when I'm trying to tell people, because I have to be like, oh, it's colefilms.com, but it's Coal. Or like I'll email people and they'll call me Cole, Coal, as my name, and I'll be like,
They'll
it's
reply to an email like,
Cole.
"Hey Cole."
Yeah, like no, they do all
Coal.
the time. Like, hey, Cole, how you doing? And I'm like, it's not like, that's not how you spell my name. So it's a bit confusing, but I think it's pretty cool. Like, I really like. I had a friend of mine make me a logo for it, and she did an amazing job. Her name is Fair. If anyone ever needs a graphic designer, I can put you guys in touch. And so I'm really happy with kind of the way all that turned out, and the colors and the vibe of it. But it does get confusing. But I'm very happy with it.
Have you considered legal name change? Like, just change your name to Cole. Just do it.
It would probably make things so much easier on myself.
It would be a more unique name.
Yeah, I might have to actually look into that so I can stop having to spell it every time. I think actually before I even did my business, I did it as my like personal Instagram handle, just as like, I don't know, I thought it was kind of unique, and then it kind of grew from there and it became sort of my tag on things.
So best place people can find you is Instagram?
Probably, yeah. If you want to reach out to me, Instagram or email. My website has like a contact form as well. But I'm on Instagram a lot. It's a platform I use, so it's definitely a good way to reach out and chat and kind of see how things go.
Do you show behind the scenes on either one of these?
Yeah, I do try to. It's hard on the day to remember when you're very busy to be posting stories, but I do. I have a lot of highlights on my Instagram. Cole Films has an Instagram account as well. I'm not nearly as active on it as I should be, but I do try to do that too. I have a wedding video business as well. That it's Your Moment Wedding Films. I separated that from my corporate business just because I figured like you're marketing to two very, very different people, and wedding people don't necessarily want to see my corporate interview videos, and corporate people don't necessarily need to watch a wedding video. So I just separated them. I have two websites and two companies doing that.
You could say you've divorced the two.
It's very separated. And I think that was a good decision. Like I'm pretty happy with that, because it does let me kind of focus, like you were saying earlier about like using the right keywords and stuff. Like this way I'm not putting out a broad net. I'm putting out a very like selective net.
Yeah, I've actually like filtered out wedding stuff. I'm like, no, I want more corporate, less wedding.
I like weddings. My goal I think is not to do a lot of weddings, because they're stressful and they're long days, but I like them because I do find them quite creative. Like I find that I have clients but they've seen my work, and so they know what to expect from it. So I don't get a lot of like micromanaging from brides or grooms, and I'm able to kind of put together. It's wedding videos are a lot like music videos, I find, because I do use audio and from the toasts and vows and stuff, but it's a similar thing where you're trying to use music and visuals to tell a story. And so I find that a lot of the skills I have kind of overlap between the two, and it's a good creative outlet while still being an industry that makes money.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, yeah, as Nate said, that was it for our list of questions. Do you have any final thoughts, Cole?
Yeah, that's this has been fun chatting with you guys.
Yeah.
It's I hope I can work with you guys more in the future, and I'm sure that I'll be calling you guys sometime too, and bringing you out on some shoots of mine as well. And I look forward to seeing where your podcast goes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Thanks, brother.
We're excited to see where it goes too.
Hmm.
Thank you very much for joining us today, and I guess we can call it a wrap for today's podcast. Thank you very much for watching/listening. Please leave a comment or send us a message about what topics you would like us to cover. We're kind of out of topic, so please comment. If not, we'll just keep on getting guests because this is pretty awesome. Getting to hear different people's life experience and perspectives on the video industry. So thank you very much, Cole, for sharing that with us.
Yeah, thanks guys for having me on.
Awesome. And be sure to subscribe to not miss an episode of the Nate and Doran podcast. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever you use to listen to podcasts. This has been Nate and Doran, joined by Cole. Thanks for watching and listening.